Q2308. The person directly responsible for the pre-launch briefing of passengers for a flight is the A. Safety officer, B. Pilot in command, C. Ground crew member. The correct answer is B. The pilot in command is directly responsible for the pre-launch briefing of passengers before a flight. This briefing is conducted to inform passengers about important safety procedures and information that they need to know before the flight. During the pre-launch briefing, the pilot in command will cover topics such as seat belt usage, emergency exits, communication procedures, and any specific instructions or safety measures relevant to the flight. The purpose of this briefing is to ensure that passengers are aware of their responsibilities and are prepared for any potential situations that may arise during the flight. While other individuals, such as safety officers or ground crew members, may have roles in ensuring overall safety and assisting with passenger management, the ultimate responsibility for conducting the pre-launch briefing lies with the pilot in command. They have the authority and knowledge to communicate critical information to the passengers and ensure a safe and organized flight. 3080. Which pre-flight action is specifically required of the pilot prior to each flight? A. Check the aircraft logbooks for appropriate entries. B. Become familiar with all available information concerning the flight. C. Review wake turbulence avoidance procedures. The correct answer is B. Prior to each flight, it is specifically required of the pilot to become familiar with all available information concerning the flight. This includes reviewing weather conditions, airspace restrictions, NOTAMs, notice to airmen, TFRs, temporary flight restrictions, and any other relevant information that may affect the safety and planning of the flight. By reviewing all available information, the pilot can make informed decisions about the route, altitude, fuel requirements, and potential hazards that may be encountered during the flight. This pre-flight action is essential for maintaining the safety of the flight and ensuring compliance with applicable regulations and procedures. While checking the aircraft logbooks for appropriate entries and reviewing wake turbulence avoidance procedures are important aspects of pre-flight preparation, they are not specifically required prior to each flight. The pilot should regularly review the aircraft logbooks to ensure that maintenance and inspections are up to date, and wake turbulence avoidance procedures should be considered when operating in proximity to larger aircraft, but they are not required actions before every flight. 3081. Pre-flight action, as required for all flights away from the vicinity of an airport, shall include A. The designation of an alternate airport. B. A study of arrival procedures at airports/heliports of intended use. C. An alternate course of action if the flight cannot be completed as planned. The correct answer is C. Pre-flight action, as required for all flights away from the vicinity of an airport, includes several elements to ensure the safety and preparedness of the flight. While both the designation of an alternate airport, answer A, and a study of arrival procedures at airports/heliports of intended use, answer B, are important considerations during flight planning, they are not required for all flights away from the vicinity of an airport. However, having an alternate course of action if the flight cannot be completed as planned is a fundamental requirement. This involves considering factors such as weather conditions, airspace restrictions, potential mechanical issues, and other unforeseen circumstances that may affect the ability to complete the flight as intended. By having an alternate course of action, the pilot can make informed decisions and take appropriate actions to ensure the safety and successful completion of the flight. 3082. In addition to other pre-flight actions for a VFR flight away from the vicinity of the departure airport, regulations specifically require the pilot in command to A. Review traffic control light signal procedures. B. Check the accuracy of the navigation equipment and the emergency locator transmitter, YLT. C. Determine runway lengths at airports of intended use and the aircraft's takeoff and landing distance data. The correct answer is C. In addition to other pre-flight actions for a VFR, visual flight rules, flight away from the vicinity of the departure airport, regulations specifically require the pilot in command to determine runway lengths at airports of intended use and the aircraft's takeoff and landing distance data. This information is essential for flight planning and ensuring that the selected airports can accommodate the aircraft's performance requirements. Reviewing traffic control light signal procedures, answer A, is not specifically required for pre-flight actions, although it is important for pilots to be familiar with these procedures for safe operations near controlled airspace. Checking the accuracy of the navigation equipment and the emergency locator transmitter, YLT, answer B, is also important, but it is not specifically mentioned as a required action for all VFR flights away from the departure airport. However, maintaining the proper functioning of navigation equipment and the YLT is a general responsibility of the pilot. 3132. What is the specific fuel requirement for flight under VFR at night in an airplane? A. Enough to complete the flight at normal cruising speed with adverse wind conditions. B. Enough to fly to the first point of intended landing and to fly after that for 30 minutes at normal cruising speed. C. Enough to fly to the first point of intended landing and to fly after that for 45 minutes at normal cruising speed. The correct answer is C. For VFR, visual flight rules, flights at night in an airplane, the specific fuel requirement is that the pilot must have enough fuel to fly to the first point of intended landing and then continue flying for an additional 45 minutes at normal cruising speed. This requirement ensures that there is an adequate fuel reserve in case of unexpected delays or diversions during the flight. Option A. Enough to complete the flight at normal cruising speed with adverse wind conditions does not account for the additional 45 minutes of fuel reserve required for night VFR flights. Option B. Enough to fly to the first point of intended landing and to fly after that for 30 minutes at normal cruising speed is incorrect because the correct requirement for VFR flights at night is 45 minutes of fuel reserve, not 30 minutes.